All right, yeah. So we're on. I believe this is Terrorisk episode 16. How you feeling tonight, Brendan?
I'm feeling okay right now.
All right, cool. Oh, hold on. I gotta turn this volume down. Okay, so now that we've got the speakers not playing any sound, but we're talking into the mic. You were just coming back from busking, right?
Yeah, I was busking at the boardwalk.
Yeah. Don't look at that. Look at me, man.
I'm looking at you right now.
All right, so just to recap, you guys, so you're not disoriented. We did me and Brendan never did this before together, so we did another take prior to this, and we decided that we're not going to use it because it was like more like a test run. Maybe I'll put it up for like some fucking paid content or whatever. I don't know. Maybe
I thought some
work.
of it was funny. I was laughing at the end of it.
I guess. Yeah, it was pretty. There were some good moments, and I edited out the parts that you didn't want, which is normal. That's perfectly like par for the course for podcasts. Like you just let some things slip, and like you could just cut it out, and that happens. So anyway, in case you're tuning in on Brendan for the first time, he's a native New Yorker, former bike messenger, former punk rock legend. Well, I guess he kind of is a local punk rock legend.
It's fading.
He's also
The legend's fading.
Yeah, the legend is fading, he says. But aside from that, he's a dear friend, and he's coming back to live in New York from Texas after living in Texas for like what, 7 years?
7 years.
How was it?
At first, it was cool. I was at least in a town that wasn't as red per se. It wasn't as evangelical. It was a college town, so you had a lot more different minds, and we had a lot of protests and things like that. So people were a little bit more conscious there, where if you went to all the other towns, all the signs around you were like "Back the Blue," and fucking join the military, and God bless America, and that was like super like redneck and like creepy. Like there was one Mexican girl I dated, and we went to her town, and it was creepy. It was like, ever see a movie where like you walk into a bar or something, or a saloon or a store, and like everyone's talking, and all of a sudden everything just goes silent, and everyone just goes creak, and you hear like the chairs creak, and they like turn around and like stare at you. And I was with this Mexican chick, and they were just like give me this weird look, like all these white dudes, and I'm like, you gotta get out of here.
All right, so then what brought you to Texas in the first place?
At first it was for rehab. It happened after Hurricane Sandy. The house our house, my parents' house, went underwater and went down, and we had to rebuild it for the second time. But I also had a problem with like opiates and things like that, so eventually, when I hit a bad bottom, they sent me to rehab. And at first I thought it was going to be this, I was going to go somewhere for a month and come back, and I'm brand new, I'm back to my normal self again. And they were like, no, we're sending you to Texas. So they sent me to this butt-fuck nowhereville town called Stevensville, Texas. And it was like a church across the street from a church, across the street from a church. And they had like a gas station. It was horrible. But the rehab was pretty cool. There was kangaroos and marsupials and...
What? Wait. Did you say kangaroos?
Yeah.
What the fuck are you talking about?
This one was known... It was a really small rehab. They only had about like 15 people at a time, like half females, half males. So we lived in these little itty-bitty cabins across from each other in this mini field. And there was like a smoking section in the middle. And all the girls would live in like the 4 bunkers across from us, and we would all live in our bunkers. And I met a lot of friends there. I realized all the other addicts were a lot like me mentally at first. It was funny because addicts, when they're not fucked up, are hilarious. They're really
because
crafty people,
and they're real as fuck.
Yeah, they're real and they're hilarious. And like I guess people like that have been on drugs for a lot. They lost their sense of humor. Now they're getting it back, so they're realizing how funny life is again.
All right, so I got another question. Do you ever miss the dope?
No, actually not at all. I have nightmares sometimes that I do it, and when I do it in the nightmare, I feel this feeling of like overwhelming, just a numbing feeling that just feels off. It feels like I can't feel love, I can't feel compassion, and I just feel like a zombie. And I have like nightmares that I did do it, and I wake up almost sometimes in like cold sweat, like thinking, oh my god, what have I done? You know, and a lot of people in rehab will call that a free lapse. And, you know, it's like a free relapse. But for me, it was never fun, even in the dreams. It was always like, what have I fucking done? I feel like shit right now. I just can't, like, I can't go around my parents. I can't go around friends because I don't want to see me like this. So I think my brain is really kind of against doing it at this point. And I just have random nightmares where I just accidentally or just went and did something like that again. And I just felt horrible about it. And I wake up and, like, it takes me a couple minutes to be like, oh, I didn't do that. I'm fine. Everything's fine. I'm normal. I'm okay right now.
Well, either way, man, it's definitely good to have you back. You know, my ideal scenario for you would be like if you started your own band again, and I could go to shows featuring Brendan. That would be so sick. I would support you 100%.
I have a couple of people who would. I just don't know who I'd play with right now. It's
Well, at least you have a music producer. You have someone who could like produce the tracks for you, record you and shit. Like, I know all the steps. I got you. Seriously, I have a mixer on top of a interface with the fucking computer, so I could track drums if I wanted to. I could record the vocals, the bass.
Oh, word.
And then produce the whole tracks.
Or at least get like a demo out, and I can like bring it to other musicians.
I think you should
Can you play this?
I think you should do what you were doing with the acoustic stuff, because like, yeah, I know my neighbors would kind of like bitch about it, and I'm sorry I got angry about that, but like, it's not like I was angry at you. It was more so like I was like frustrated because I was like, damn, dude, like I should have told you that like this was the case, but I just wish I didn't have to. You know,
I had a couple of drinks in me. For those who don't know, I went to cover the "Where Did You Sleep Last Night," which is originally a Lead Belly song, which was covered by Nirvana.
He started fucking screaming in my
It was
apartment.
the last song he sang before he killed himself or whatever. If you think
Super into
Courtney
it.
Love did it, I don't think that's the truth. But yeah, he went kind of hard at the end. It was abrasive.
And then all of a sudden we hear the thump, 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 like from the ceiling, and we're like, oh shit. And then right away I was like, fuck, dude, I should have said something. It's just I didn't think it would be a problem, because every time like she thumped on me, it would always be because like I had my electric plugged in, and then like I've been producing like my own like dance tracks, you know, and like I've had it like pretty loud from these the Rocket speakers, and you know she didn't do anything, and you know it was only when I had like the distortion up a little bit even on the PV amp, and like that's when she would say something. And so clearly it's like the real like heavy distorted bass tones that really go up there. So like I didn't think that she would even notice, no matter how hard you went with like, you know, the vocals and the acoustic. Like I didn't think she would notice, but then when that happened, I was like, oh my god, like this is gonna happen, isn't it?
I think my best mind at the time was thinking, it's so fucking late. They're probably so deep into sleep that they're not even gonna wake up from this.
You know what?
And I'm just gonna get through those two lines where it's that loud, and then it'll just be over, and they won't nobody will notice that I did it.
Yo, but up until that point, I never met that person. Like I had no idea who lived up there. They even left a note in front of my door once, like, this isn't the studio, it's a residential. Yeah, and I was like, yeah, whatever. But like I didn't have a face to put it to. So it was after that day, after you did your shit, that, you know, like I came home from work the very next day. I opened the door, and before I even stick my key in, these two little old ladies like opened the door for me, and they're like talking to me, and one of them's like, I live upstairs from you. And right away I was like, I know what this is about, I'm sorry. And then I lied. I was like, I wasn't even there. You know, when that happened.
Wouldn't it be cool if it was like really pretty lady and you like fell in love at first sight?
That'd be awesome.
And you'd have to like thank
But
me,
you
actually.
know what she said? She was
oh.
like, I have to get up for work at 5 a.m. And I'm like, oh shit.
You'd be like, well, you got 2 hours, so hurry the fuck up and sleep.
Well, either way, I was like, basically I was like apologetic until she started threatening me, and she was like, I was gonna call management, the manager's office, and then that's when I was just like, I was like, do whatever you fucking want, lady, like, fuck you. Well, no, but I didn't really say that.
It's been a few days. There's no management yet, so
no,
I think you're safe.
Basically, I just kept up with the lie. I was like, I wasn't there. I'm sorry. and you could do whatever you want. And I walked away. And the other old lady that was there, she used to live in this apartment, so she was like telling me, she was like, oh yeah, it's all resolved. She was just the peacekeeper, she just wanted it all to be resolved. So I was like, I'm sorry, it won't happen again. Don't worry about it. And it probably won't happen again. Like, I can't imagine another situation. Like, now I know the exact decibel level that my amp should be at to not. Like,
no, that's just that one song. That part at the end is just it you're not even supposed to sing that way. Like, Kurt Cobain was like scratching his throat up because he was like, "Screw it, I'm gonna die tonight. Might as well just blow out my voice," kind of deal. So I went that hard. Yeah. I went as hard as he did when he was like, "I'm just gonna kill myself later. Fuck my voice," kind of deal. So it was a little bit.
Yo, yesterday, do you know what I had for lunch?
What?
I had a goat burrito.
A goat?
Goat meat barbacoa. Goat meat burrito. It was delicious, bro. I
had a Vietnamese pork roll, a pineapple pork roll.
Yeah, that Skittles gave you.
Oh, it was so fucking good. It was like sweet. Oh shit, mouthful of savory. It was pretty cool. It was pretty nice. It was like fully cooked pork bits inside of like chunks of pork meat inside of this like big, like sweet juicy roll.
Yo, so are you down for the Terrorisk radio bit?
What's gonna be the Terrorist radio bit?
All right, so basically, we go on air. Much like we're doing now, right? Except instead of just us talking for an hour, we'll talk for like a few minutes and then we'll play a song from made by us or from someone we know.
Some local, yeah.
Yeah, some local artists, someone we know personally.
Yeah, I like that.
And then once the song ends, it's just like listening to the radio, like the classical radio segment.
Yeah.
Thing.
It's like talk radio. You have a little bit of a talk. You have a song, a little bit of a talk.
Are you down to do that? I think that would be a great idea. I think that because we're musicians, we're not just like people who.
And
podcast,
we know a lot of musicians too.
Exactly. So it would help them out. It would help us out. It's like a symbiotic relationship between creators, I think. Yeah. And it'll help your music. It'll help my music. And it'll be a good mix.
I'm totally down. Especially Staten Island is like the missing borough. So there's a lot of good bands and good artists out here that.
Compared to the rest of New York City, I think Staten Island bands are the only real ones with a shot. Because you go to Brooklyn, you have to either rely on studios, and that's it. It's not like in Staten Island where you could go to like a friend's basement or garage and where they could set up a drum set. If you go to Brooklyn, you have to book a studio because you imagine jamming as a full band in an apartment. It'll never happen. Never.
I got lucky when I was 12. We were 12, 13. We had we lived across the street on Moreland Street, and across the street was my great grandmother. We called Nana. She was dead, and she just left the house. We hadn't we were going to inherit it, but it was just an abandoned house for a while. We didn't have money to rebuild it, so we would go into the abandoned house and go into the living room. We would break shit, and we would just set up a makeshift drum set. JoJo had his dad was a drummer, so he had
Who's JoJo?
JoJo's the drummer of the Lucky Fucks.
I know. Who are the Lucky Fucks?
The Lucky Fucks was my punk band with my friends that we started when we were 12-ish. And
give me a year, time frame.
Shit, I can't even remember what year. I know when we were 16. I was born in '89, so I was 12 when we started practicing, and we were 16 when we finally started playing shows locally, and nobody liked punk. There was we would go to some shows. It'd be half kind of pop punkish, and then eventually all this emo shit started happening, and they'd be like, "Hey guys, no moshing here," and we're like, "Oh, this is." For use of a better word, this is gay. This is, so it's just okay, you know what? We can't enjoy the shows anymore, so let's just start a band and see if people come out of the woodwork. And so we just started playing, and 2 people showed up, 3 people showed up, and then all of a sudden there's a mob of kids they made their own Lucky Fuck t-shirts, and they're just oh shit, I guess. We're something now. People heard of us, and then the first time I noticed that people really heard of us is my mom was online. She was always she was the manager almost, and she was hey, there's a couple bands, Curious Volume and this band, so and so, whatever they're called. They're playing at Dock Street, and they said they're covering a Lucky Fuck song tonight. I'm are you gonna cover a band that's been around for like less than a year? But we went and like they were, like they were like playing all these punk songs where like they were like 3 years younger than us, and like that's a long time when you're like 17,
Yeah.
And so we're
'Cause
like,
they're
holy
little
shit!
kids,
Like there's
yeah.
like a scene starting. These like from us playing, people started getting into these older bands, and like so we just kept going, and like eventually we were playing shows in front of like a couple hundred people. Sometimes, it was pretty fun. We started getting like some shows with like bigger bands. Kind of thanks to my parents.
All right. So I want your opinion on something.
Yes.
What if we were to plug these mics into that device, that interface that also has like a digital audio workstation attached to it, so we could do like silly sounds and effects while we do this?
Yeah, if you wanna.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. I think we should do that. Like, because I have real mics now. I used to just use this.
Like,
Yeah. Like
it's just like
yeah.
like the reggaeton that the Puerto Rican people blast at 6 in the morning.
Yeah. Because
when
that
you're trying to
has
sleep.
two inputs and a full stereo output, so we could it'll be funny. And if you wanted to, we could probably incorporate like live music performances if we really like figured it out, like the equipment wise. So like in the middle of an episode, you could just whip out the guitar and be like, "Here's a song by this fuckhead." I don't know. I feel like I have enough equipment now to be able to do shit like that.
Yeah, I think so. I'm totally keen with that.
Yeah. I mean, but the deal is like if you want this podcast to
Just
be a
don't do Where Did You Sleep Last Night Nirvana version.
I want you to be able to just like in return. Oh fuck! I was gonna ask something of you, but I totally forgot. But it's all good. I'll remember it down the line. It's probably not that important. But what I do know is that like it would be nice if you could just like like while we're doing a podcast episode, you could just be like, I want to play a song. Can I play a song? And I'll be like, yeah, sure. And the mic will be fixed to the guitar already, and then you'll have a mic in front of your face for the vocals. That'll be sick.
Yeah, I'm totally down for that. That sounds awesome.
Yeah, I think that's the
I think
direction.
that'd be good for like it shifts like kind of gears in a show. It's not just monotone the whole time. It's just like randomly like,
Yeah.
oh, here's a song.
I know you. I know you write a lot of songs about like very wholesome things and like very lovely, introspective, cerebral things. But could you start writing songs back to like Lucky Fucks type shit? Like, could you start writing songs, even if it's acoustic? Could you write more songs like where it's just basic power chord, like 3 to 4 chord progressions, and it's like you just want to destroy shit?
But we had a lot of songs that were like. Really, actually, like, a lot of people think punk is really simple. Like, no, we're just doing the same shit a classic rock band would do, but faster. So, like, we're hitting that many chords in a faster amount of time, I think. I don't think it's that, like, less complicated. I think it's just faster, so it seems a little bit rougher. I play a lot of music. I play Beatles. I play, I play Bob Marley.
When was the last time?
Nothing. I think musically, you can't really even get away with making
Yeah,
it
when
that
was the last
complicated.
time you wrote an angry song? I feel like it's been so long since I heard you write an angry song.
It's been a while since I've wrote angry. I went from angry to bittersweet.
But no,
And I've never passed bittersweet. I don't think I've made a. Like,
Yeah,
I'll
but
hear
anger,
a song like
listen,
Mr.
anger,
Blue Sky.
But anger is just bittersweetness with a little bit of spiciness added to it.
Yeah, but I feel like I've never written, like, I don't understand artists who can just be like, write just a happy song. Like, I hear a song like Mr. Blue Sky. I'm like, how do they write that? Like, how are they like. Because whenever I've been happy and content, I've been in like a good relationship. I never wanted to write music. I was like, oh, I'm not just gonna go to my girlfriend's and cuddle, And it was only when like I'm like I fucking hate my life. I gotta make music. It was when I actually wrote something that was like worthwhile or like kind of bittersweet.
Holy
and I
shit.
don't feel like I've ever written something that was just like everything's fine. I feel like writing a song.
You know what I just realized? All right, so let me tell you something about podcasting, okay? So the thing about podcasting, it's all about burning time. It's all about getting on the mic and being able to produce an hour's worth of content with the least amount of effort possible. So you end up spending a lot of it counting minutes, right? So like I looked, like 4 minutes. I looked more like 6 minutes ago, and then I was like, 6 minutes ago, I was like, we must have burned through at least like 45 minutes. And I look, and it's like it's only been 13 minutes, and I'm like, fuck. right? So then time goes on, right?
To me, that actually feels like a long time.
Listen,
right
no,
now.
no, just listen. So then I look back again, and it's like, oh, it must have been 45 minutes by now. And I look, and it's only 19 minutes. And then I'm like, fuck. That means we have like, that much time to go. But you know what I say? It's like a double-edged sword, right? The truth is, like, yeah, obviously, as a podcaster, you want the time to go by as, like, fast as possible. But it's like, the truth is, like, if you're actually, like, looking at the clock while you're doing it, you're probably having more fun than you think. Because, like, it's like the time drags on, only when you're, like, looking at it. But if it's, like, where you still got that, like, hype feeling, then you're having more fun.
Oh, yeah. That's how I was about to say. You're looking at the time too much. I feel like it's the same thing if, like, you're at a job. Like, I'm a cook, so I'll be standing up, sweating, like, okay. And every once in a while, I'll glance up, look to my left or something, look at the clock. Okay. And I'll, like, every while, I'll be like, okay, in 1 hour, I'll have 4 hours left. Okay. In 1 hour, I'll have 3 hours left.
You know how I think of it?
And it'll just keep going like that.
Yeah. The way I think of it as going to a rave, right? Normally, when I show up to a rave, it's like 9 to 10. That's when I first normally show up. And the thing about going there is, if you go to a rave, you're gonna want to do drugs. So so the thing about taking a hit of Molly, that's like a 5 to 6 hour time investment. If you get a good hit, right?
It doesn't last long enough.
Yeah, but still, that's time. Because remember, you showed up there at 11 o'clock. In 5 hours, it's going to be 4 a.m. Do you really want to be there at 4 a.m.? Do you really want to be stuck at a party when the sun comes up? So it's like you got to start planning ahead. And then suddenly you start thinking about time a lot more often. You're like, oh, shit.
Yeah, but you don't want to be dancing like...
And then you build your tolerance.
You're looking at the clock every couple of minutes, like, what time is it?
Yeah. And
How
then
long is my trip going to last?
But then you build a tolerance, and then suddenly you're like, all right, if you have the money, this is the ideal rave night. You go there, you take your first roll when you first get there at like 11, and then you start rolling, and then once you get to your peak rolling, then you take a tab of acid. And then you're like, yeah. And then by the time it rolls around to 4 or 5 a.m., that is when you break out your bag of Coke and start sniffing Coke for the drive home.
I've only candy flipped a few times, but also I've never had much luck with double dosing later on. I feel like ecstasy, at least with Molly, ecstasy is the initial dose, and that's it. If I try to take more later on, it's like my brain is like, dude, you used the dopamine already.
Real quick, I'm gonna be listening, so I gotta go pee. But while I do that, I want you to describe to the people your last acid trip.
Okay.
Do it.
The last acid trip I had was in Denton, Texas. Dude, I actually forgot the dude's name, but we went into the park and we took a couple gummies and a couple tabs, and I don't know if I trusted it, whether it was research chemicals or not, but I remember the real big thing that happened was there was two bars, one on top of the other. One was called Andy's Bar. It was just a cheap, like, $2 beer, fucking $1 shots bar. And there was another place on top of it called Pascal's. And they had like absinthe and all this fancy liquor. And it was pretty high end and expensive. And I went up there and there's a lot of art around there, like pictures and stuff. And some artist was showing me his phone, showing me photos and showing me pictures of art that he drew. And he was showing it to me, and I'm like, okay, that's a okay, I still don't know. Is it GIF or GIF? It's GIF, right?
GIF, I think.
It's GIF?
No, it's GIF. Graphical.
It's GIF? Okay, graphical. Okay. So he was showing me what I thought it was a GIF. It's like, and he's like, you see how the woman in the painting looks like she's like turning to you and then turning back, turning to you and turning back? And I'm like, yeah, it's a GIF. I can see that. And he's like, no, like really pay attention. I'm like, I can see that she's turning back and forth. And he's like, wait, what? And I'm like, yeah, I can see it's a GIF. He's like, it's not a GIF. And I'm like, oh, you did a good job, dude, with that shading. I'm like, holy fuck. I really thought this picture was moving. I thought this chick in the picture was like looking at me and then turning her head and looking at me and turning her head. But he just made the framing and like the whatever he did with his art made it look like, I guess I was seeing it on the acid the way it was meant to be seen. And I was watching it move, even though it wasn't a GIF. And I'm like, is that where it came from? People in like the Renaissance times were looking at art and they're like, holy shit, that bitch is moving. And it was just a still frame. But I really thought it was a GIF. at first because it was to me it was supposed to be moving.
Was this in Texas?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was my last. I didn't trust it after that.
All right. So, all right. That was the first question. Was your last acid trip? Now I gotta ask, what was your favorite acid trip?
Oh yeah. Okay. So I used to like to do a thing where I would take a psychedelic and not tell anyone. So I'd have my experience without, because I never liked when somebody came up to you. It's like, I heard you took acid, man. How do you feel, man? You know, I never liked that. And they would friends would do stupid shit, like wave their hands in front of your face, like, does this look weird, man? Does this look weird to you? And I'm like, this is not a part of the trip. Stop trying to change this. So I wouldn't tell anyone. I would take ecstasy and I'd go out and I was never a flirter. But if you haven't taken Molly or ecstasy, you could make anyone think that they're in love. It's I don't know what it is. It's the way you look at them. You have this gleam in your eye, and they're just like, oh my god, I'm falling in love with this dude. Plenty of times I've gone home.
You're so hot because you're so tripping.
Yeah, it really. I think ecstasy makes you hotter at the time, and but I wouldn't tell anyone. And this one time I took acid, and I went and finally I did reveal that I took acid, but it was kind of mostly adult trip. It was kind of weird and trippy. I remember one time I had long hair at the time and I would straighten it, and I remember one time I felt self-conscious because I felt weird about straightening my hair because my hair got wavy. I wanted to have long guy hair, but it never came out right, so I would straighten it and not tell anyone. And then one girl was like, do you iron your hair? And I just felt really embarrassed about it at the time. But I was also tripping on acid. I remember going into the bathroom and looking at myself in the mirror, and I saw myself as a girl. And I saw my feminine side almost. I saw myself as a female. As me as myself now was born as a female version of myself. And it was a weird trip. But then I remember later on we just went to the beach and just hanging out, smoking a joint, and I just had this urge to just start walking towards the water. And there was this big hill of sand, and I got over the hill of sand, and I went down to the water, and the sun was just rising, and I was still tripping a little. I didn't know I was still tripping. I thought it was over, and the sun was rising, and I just saw this big beam of light shining on the sand where the sun was, and I stepped into it, and I looked up, and I saw myself from it was like I was in the sky looking down at myself at the same time, and it was almost like me and God, which was also me, looking at each other, giving the thumbs up, just hey man, yep,
damn,
that's it. And I was like, oh, and I just felt this overwhelming
Take
sense.
2 hits, no more.
Oh my god,
2 hits.
Overwhelming sense of peace and beauty. And I just walked back, that walk when you went through an ego death, and you just every muscle in your body is just relaxed and content. And I just walked back with this freedom inside of me.
Do you miss that feeling?
Yeah, I think if it's there, it's inherently there, right?
Yeah, for sure. You could always feel it again. Until you can't when you're dead.
Yikes. Well, yeah, but
What do you
maybe
mean,
that's
yikes?
what
It's
happens when you
natural.
die.
Yeah, you die.
You die and you become a part of everything, maybe.
Exactly.
You're not this ego, fucking sticky personality that you have to adhere to anymore.
I think
you don't have these desires I'm going to think a different way because I like this person, or I'm going to act a different way because I want something. When you don't want...
I think when you're fucked up, when you're that fucked up on shrooms, acid, ketamine, or ecstasy, you do experience almost that ego death.
Well, I remember, when I started taking ecstasy, and I remember taking ecstasy with you a couple times, and I don't know if I showed it to you or not back in long time ago.
You didn't show it to me, but you were the first access I had to ecstasy.
So I remember, you were asking me what do you want right now? What do you need right now? And I was high as fucking the field, and I'm just it was that feeling of I'm okay. Can I help anyone else? When you're perfectly fucking fine. So no matter what interaction you have with another human being, it's not you're trying to get something out of them. It's all what you can put in. And I feel if we can actually be content, we would think more about how we can serve others and help others, rather than I feel like shit. What can I get out of this person? Can I fuck this person? Can I get something out of them? You know, I feel like when you have an ego death, it destroys that idea of like every relationship has to be something you get from it rather than something you give.
All right. Do you remember? You remember when we would like roll on E and like go on some of our bike rides?
Yeah.
That shit was sick.
The bike rides, bikes. I feel bad for anyone who doesn't ever rode a bike and tripped, because anytime I've had a good trip, sometimes bike was like yes, and so every time I've had a bad trip, it's like get on that fucking bike and just start riding, just like clear your fucking head. The adrenaline, like think about it. Albert Hoffman, he pretty much invented acid by accident.
He was on a bicycle.
Yeah, he rode the bike. The first trip recorded in that you know, like in modern times, was Albert Hoffman getting on a bicycle and then coming home and then somehow drawing the double helix DNA on a chalkboard without knowing or having a microscope or knowing what a double helix DNA was. And then later on, they found out that was how the DNA was shaped. It's like he saw it into his own fucking body in a microscopic way.
You know I have a car and stuff. So, like, would you ever be down to get, like, a couple tabs of acid, drive out somewhere with our bikes, and then ride, like, in, like, say, Buffalo or, like, upstate or some shit, or Poconos?
Like, ride the bike up to Buffalo?
No. Like, we'll load the bikes in the car and then drive up there and then ride around there, tripping balls. And I'll bring
if you feel comfortable tripping and driving, I feel comfortable with you then.
No, not tripping and driving. Like, we'll bring a tent, we'll camp. Like, you know, like we'll drive out somewhere remote. We'll camp out. We'll pitch a tent. We'll take acid, ride around on our bikes, and then come back to the tent, sleep, and go home.
I also like the thing is about Denton, Texas. Like Staten Island, New York has a lot more nature and wildlife. We have more beach. We have beaches. We have the green belt.
Yeah.
There's a lot of places you can just go into seclusion, surrounded by trees, or just the beach, and just.
Yo, but you remember Zuka?
Yeah.
You know where she lives now, right?
Not really.
She lives out in Pennsylvania with her husband, and they have like their own house. They have a lot of property, and like I spent like a bunch of time there, and you know this past summer, and we went there through parties. Like, yo, you should come with me. I already asked her. I was like, would you be down to like host me and Brendan just for a weekend, and we could come down there, take in the nature, and I think you'll like it.
Yeah.
You'll come.
I just gotta make sure I'm prepared with diabetes
and you know what? And you know what? She's like mad cool. Like her and her partner, like they're into psychedelics. Like they always have acid and shrooms.
She seems cool. She's always just posting like antique shit.
Yeah. But then like they're always down to chill and do on psychedelics. Like they always have acid. They always have like shrooms. And like we go there, we'll trip out, dude. It'll be fun time around nature.
I think when you have old friends that like posting a lot about what they're doing, they're like the people to go hang out with. And when you have like a bunch of friends who are just posting like shit about themselves all the time, it's just like, are you kind of fucked in the head right now? Like maybe I should not hang out with you. Like, is there something wrong? Why are you trying to validate yourself so much? When people become a little bit more quiet, I feel like nowadays I trust them a little bit more.
Well, how do you feel about?
They probably have shit going on in their life where they're not constantly like flashing themselves on a fucking.
Well, how do you feel about me online then? Because I don't flash myself like that.
No, but at first I didn't know what to think about you because, okay, like you would post like something. Like I can tell what your sense of humor is when I meet you in person, and I can almost tell when I was like online. But like a lot of it was, very like I'm all like, is he trying to be edgy right now about saying some shit like controversial subjects like trans things or like LGBT.
But I'm not really hateful.
No, I know you're not hateful, but it's like sometimes like you're just trying to pry and be like a douche. But at the same time, I'm trying
to get to the core of the truth.
Yeah, I can see that. I understand that too.
You can feel it.
Yeah, but it's hard to tell what like. That's why I don't like texting people or.
No, but you remember the discussions we used to have where you would say your beliefs and piss everyone off, but it wouldn't piss me off. I always like listen.
I don't remember what those beliefs were. I'm constantly changing my beliefs.
Yeah. Your beliefs were true before you started doing dope. Once you started doing dope, that's when like I heard the shit you were saying and I was like, nah, this is stupid. Like, but before that, everything you were saying was totally true. I mean, some things you said just to be a dick, like when you were in Hyenas. I remember one time you were like, it would be great if we got famous and we got a mansion and we could just have like an army of girls like with lobotomies, and they'll just be like, they'll just be there for us to fuck and run on treadmills to power our home. And I was like, what the fuck?
You know what?
I would hear that when I was like 19 years old. I'd be like, what the fuck is that, dude? Like,
Well, this is why you don't. This is why you don't.
that was the funniest shit I've ever heard. I was like,
If you're listen, everybody out there, if you're a teenager or in your early 20s, don't look up to somebody a couple years older than you ever and listen to what they say, because nobody knows what the fuck
I
they're
didn't
talking
look up
about
to
at
that,
any given
dude. I
time.
right away I was like, this
People
is-
just say shit. Don't ever just like don't believe in anyone ever about anything, no matter how fucking popular. Or
You
cool
and Mark,
they are,
were
like,
both like, we could have them running on treadmills or like giant hamster wheels, so we don't have to pay for electricity.
Yeah, you got fucking like premature bullshit rock star mentalities for no good reason.
No,
know?
you adopted that,
There was
Jimmy.
fucking this many
no,
people
no,
at this show.
honestly, with
but
that,
I've also
no,
seen.
no. There was only you and the whole band. You were the only one that adopted the whole like glamorous bullshit rock star mentality. Jimmy,
No, that's bullshit.
Alex, Mark, all of them, they were business. They were all about the business. They were on the level. You were the dreamer.
I was probably being silly and fucking like joking about it
Nah,
at the
but
same
you were
time,
the-
though.
you were
I
the-
say a lot of shit that I don't fucking.
You
mean.
were the fucking dreamer of the band, though, and that's what the band needs, though. They needed that.
Yeah,
But here's where you fucked
I
it
remember
up.
saying that. I don't remember what I was doing at the
No,
time.
No,
what
being
I
the
had
dreamer,
taken.
being the dreamer wasn't what fucked it up. It was what happened after that, when you started dabbling into more drugs.
Yeah, but I hadn't really gotten bad into other things until after the band kind of like sizzled. It didn't like. It was weird. It wasn't like the Lucky Fox where it just bam. It was like it sizzled out like really. I don't know,
Yeah,
it
you
was
had
like-
a cycle of rotation.
Yeah, it wasn't like a bad. It wasn't like a bad breakup. It was like almost like one of those breakups where it's like, oh, I guess we're leaving.
slow death.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. It wasn't like a I fucking hate you kind of fucking
What do you
breakup.
prefer, the slow death or like the fucking hate you kind of breakup?
You know what? I guess the fucking hate you is almost like
Yeah.
more tangible. It gives more closure.
You're right.
It's not
you're
like,
right.
hey, it's because like the sizzle is almost like you can always come back and be like, oh, are we good? Like do you want to like meet up? You know,
But if it's like
but
the-
if it's like a fucking hate you, it's like fucking delete, fuck you. You know, I'm gone.
No, I appreciate that too, though. I prefer that because it's more like samurai. You know, it's like, yo, what are we gonna lie to ourselves? We're gonna kid ourselves like this isn't the way it is. Like, let's just get to the chase, you know. And I think that's fine. It wastes a lot less time.
Yeah, but I've been in like, you know, like I've been in relationships where like, you know, like we just like mutually it's like realize it's not gonna be like we're not gonna fall in love.
Yeah.
We're not gonna hit that point where you're like, holy shit, this is amazing. It was just gonna stay like. It's cool, like you chill and like touch each other and shit. Like it was like,
Dude,
there was
those glasses, by the
Sometimes
way-
we're like, it's not even like just like, let's just like go about our lives. And
Yo,
leave
those
this.
glasses look way better on you than me.
I don't like glasses. I like to
No,
be
but
translucent.
those look so good. These are going to be your podcasting glasses from now on. I think you're way because just for as soon as you put it on, like your whole demeanor changed. Like you were able to
No, it
like.
didn't.
But I think it's.
I feel weird in these.
Nah, I think you look
I
great.
can still see fine. It's just everything's a little bit darker.
Hell's yeah. You're.
I don't feel like but I don't have that like with the glasses on. I don't feel.
Let's say, all right, let
like
me-
I'm guessing.
here's
I thought I was gonna feel the sense
No,
of
no, no, let me-
security
let me
and
tell
comfort.
let me tell you what those glasses are for, right? Let's bring it back to the 1980s, right? It's the 1980s. You're in high school. You're walking through a 1980s.
I wasn't in
school,
high school. How am I
And-
gonna imagine this?
and you're stoned as fuck in the 1980s in high school, and you're like, oh
Yikes.
fuck, dude, the lights are so bright.
Scary being
blah, blah,
stoned in
blah.
the early 2000s.
And then your homie comes up to you, he's like, yo, bro, here, and he hands you some cheap ass aviators, enhanced hallway vision. So you're stoned, but you put these glasses on. Nobody could see your eyes. You're just walking through, 80s high school. You're like, hey, what's up, Mr. P? What's up, Mr. C? What's up, Tanya?
I
What's
never
up,
did that.
George?
So I don't know what that feels like.
Yeah, but now I'm just trying to immerse you into a fantasy, And this is what those glasses provide. It's that kind of like enhanced hallway vision.
Yeah, but I don't feel like hidden or like safe in these glasses.
You should, because you look pretty
But I
damn cool
don't.
right now. You look pretty damn fucking cool. Yeah, you got to see yourself.
I can't see it. I can't.
No, I'll show you. Oh no, my phone's nowhere near me, but it's all. Oh wait, here it is. Yeah, it is. So are you stoked for your first rave that you're coming to on September 9th where I'm spinning? You know you are.
You know, I've never really been into electronic music. I like Schmongle. That's pretty much about fucking it. When
Yo,
I was
look
when
how
I was
cool you look.
breakdancing when I was in 6th grade, I
Look how cool you look.
That's ridiculous.
No, come on, that's cool. That is, you look like John Lennon but cooler.
But like, I like Schmongle, but I don't really like techno or anything.
Now, once you see the vibe, once you see the atmosphere of like the location, you'll get it. I'll even get you some free drugs.
I wish I had a furry suit.
Those are expensive, actually.
Yeah, they look it. No, just like nothing like crazy. I don't like the helmet. You know, I would be cool with, like having like a tail and like cute little ears, but like I want my face to be there. You know, I don't want like to put on like a helmet and be a totally another thing.
Yeah, I feel that.
I'd rather just be like an an anthropomorphic animal version of myself.
Like a onesie, like a Tigger onesie.
Yeah, but like ears, but my face is still free. You know, like I don't know.
Yeah, for sure.
I would totally. I'm not lying. I'd be into that shit.
Yeah, have you ever been to Korean barbecue?
No, I can't honestly say that. No.
Do you want to?
What is it?
It's delicious food. I'll take you. Do you want to go? You want to try it?
Yeah.
Let's do it. I'll take you to Korean barbecue. You'll love it. We'll have a little gay date.
Word. I love gay dates. Except for when they want you to do things for money
We
afterwards.
could technically go tonight. It's not even that late. It's only 10:35. Yeah, we could go.
I can't get down to like fucking really like right now. I don't think I can like really just dig into like Korean food right now.
We don't have to eat a lot. We could just order a little bit, but you'll still taste it. We could drive us. It'll be something to do, you know. Like once we wrap up this episode in about 19 minutes, we could go drive over, run over, and I'll drive you home.
I think I'd rather eat some of that spicy fucking crazy.
Oh no, fuck you,
shit
dude. We've
again.
had that for the past like 2-3 days, pretty much. No,
That was the first time I ever ate that spicy shit.
No, let's eat some real shit. Let's eat some real Korean food. I'll put you on. And you know what? You don't even have to.
I'm not that hungry though. I'm not really that hungry.
Okay, we'll have to work up an appetite somehow.
Yeah, I just like I don't like going out to eat unless like I can like get to town.
No, but it's,
Like that's unless I'm like I'm just gonna fucking eat the fuck out of everything.
no, just trust me, dude. Just trust me, man. I won't lead you astray. Okay. You know me, man. I know my Korean foods. It'll be fine. Because I'm not even that hungry. You're not that hungry. But the experience and the atmosphere.
What is it? Like I'm guessing like pork with sauce.
Beef. We'll have brisket. Or we'll have like, yeah, I think brisket's good. We'll have kalbi.
What's that?
Beef.
With what else?
They'll give us like garnishes and...
Are there like noodles or rice or anything?
No, like lettuce. Yeah, we could order rice on the side too.
No, I'm thinking about it now. I don't know. I can stomach going out and eating all that food.
I see. It's
I'd
not-
have to prepare for that.
We don't even have to order that much. Like literally, it's just going to be like one. They'll just give us like a little slab. I'll eat most of it if you want. Like whatever you can't finish, I'll have. Cause we're sharing it either way. It's like a communal thing. We don't even have to finish all of it. It's literally like, you know, Korean people don't just go to pubs like, you know, Irish and white people do. What they do is they go to restaurants. And they go to the restaurants, they order the, you know, little slab of meat, and then they get a bottle of soju, and they split the soju, and they fry the meat, eat that, talk.
Soju like sake?
Yeah, it's like
Is it hot?
No.
Okay.
It's very minty
That was
cool.
nasty.
No,
I did that once, and I'm like, why would you make it hot?
Soju is minty cool liquor, for sure. Yo, I just want to, while we still have like 15 minutes left, I just want to thank you for coming on, because honestly, compared to the last take, this is a lot better. Like this turned out really good.
I feel like the last take there's a little bit more funnier shit.
All right, so let me
sometimes.
ask you a question. And you got to answer it honestly, because the folks don't know yet.
Okay.
What was the longest amount of time, like maybe hours in a row, you spent masturbating?
Like 72 or something. I don't know.
Wait, 72 what?
Hours? You're telling me to calculate by hours?
So you've spent 72 hours
more
straight.
than that, probably. Yeah.
So
I've already answered this question before on the last
but
one.
we don't know if we're gonna run that. So
Okay.
So, but I'm asking you right now because I didn't have a number to put to it, but now you're telling me 72 hours
Please
straight.
come with the masturbation question.
72 hours straight of masturbating, really?
Some of it's kind of fruitless, but don't not even once. Just kids, not even once. But you're not gonna listen. Somebody's gonna do those drugs. It's just gonna do them.
So you're not
No
even
matter
gonna
what
say,
anyone says.
So you're gonna be like, don't do meth, but you're like, there's no point in telling you this.
Yeah,
if you
like did that ever work? I've had Dare come to my school when I was like fucking third grade.
I'm definitely
I had
gonna do
all
this
this shit
stuff.
come happen to me. I'm like, I promise, because I have no idea. Like I'm focused on Pokemon. I don't give a shit about this shit. They like don't do drugs. I'm like, I wasn't thinking about drugs. I'm thinking about like, is fucking War Turtle gonna evolve soon so I can fucking fight the Elite Four?
You were a Squirtle guy?
Yes, always.
Squirtle was the pussiest one.
No, and let me explain to you why it's the best. For one, they like that. Some people like to say it's easy, medium, hard mode because it kind of is in the beginning because the first gym's rock, the second gym's water. So you pick Charmander as your main. You're kind of fucked in the first two gyms unless you catch some Pokemon and learn how to fucking strategize.
You could catch a Pikachu right away at fucking Viridian Forest.
In the original games, a Pikachu was rare as fuck.
Yeah, but you could just go around
It
for
was
a
like
while.
1 out of 100 chance.
But you could still find it eventually.
Yes, if you grinded. You have to
But
grind. I'm
no,
saying you
no,
had to
but-
grind.
but a Pikachu
If you wanted
already-
to win, you had to
No,
fucking
no, no,
grind.
but
Nowadays, they
Viridian-
baby them with
no,
Pokemon
but a
games.
Viridian Forest Pikachu was very easy to find. Like all you had to do was within 4 encounters you could find a Pikachu in Viridian Forest.
We can put it on this podcast. We can go out and buy some Game Boys and get the fucking original games, and I will show you how hard it is to
I'll
get a
show
Pikachu.
you how fast it is to get a Pikachu.
Pikachu wasn't the main fucking thing at the first.
No, but it was available mad soon in Viridian Forest. Viridian Forest was where it spawned, and you could get it.
You had to
mad
grind a little bit.
easy. Red or blue version though.
You had
it was
to grind.
available. But either way, it was available, and that already rendered the Cerulean City gym fucking fruitless.
Okay, but
And-
the first gym.
No, first gym. All right,
The
so-
only option
No,
is
no,
to get
no,
a
no,
Nidoran
no,
or a
no, no.
Mankey and teach it low kick.
No. The best option for the first gym was to catch a Caterpie and to get a Butterfree. That Butterfree could fuck up the whole Pewter City gym single-handedly. That is the proper strategy. You know the Caterpie was available.
No, I always got a Mankey, and for when I had Squirtle, so I didn't need to.
The Caterpie was
But
the
if I
best
was gonna
way.
go Charmander, I would get Mankey, learn low kick, and super effective.
Yo, but how common was Caterpie? And you could have easily evolved into a Butterfree in no time. Like,
yeah,
that
but
takes-
confusion is just regular effective. It's not super effective. It's just a powerful psychic
No,
move.
the Butterfree knew other shit too, like poison powder.
Yeah, okay, yeah, you can do that.
Stun
You can,
powder.
if you want to go that route, or you can hit him with 2 low kicks and just win the whole.
All I know is
thing.
that Butterfree was broken against the fucking Pewter City gym, and once you catch the Pikachu,
But then you gotta let it go.
no, you don't. And once you
Yes,
catch
you
the
do.
no, once
You're not
you,
gonna use Butterfree for the rest.
are
of
you
them.
serious?
You're not gonna
You
come
have
to the Elite Four with a Butterfree.
because the Butterfree is an elite bug type Pokemon.
It's not.
Yes, it is.
It
It knows
evolves super
every-
quickly. It comes OP only in the beginning of the game, and then afterwards,
no, dude, it could learn every powder strategy. It could learn sleep powder, poison powder, and stun powder. That's broken. As
You know,
fuck.
I might try to do that next time I try.
Get the Caterpie early, like fucking evolve it into a Butterfree, and it could learn all the.
Yeah, but its stats don't get that much better.
No, but it is the status raider, meaning you put it out there to raid the stats of your enemy, and once it's all 3 like status elements, that's when you put your killer out and destroy it. Imagine being sleep, paralyzed, and
Would you be
poisoned.
down? And we can put it on the podcast and videotape. Would you be down to like whether it's fire red, leaf green, or red or blue? Are you down to get them? Take our time training our teams and going through the games, going through the motions, and then finally battling.
Well, do you
and
really
becoming rivals in
do you
Pokemon.
really think you could beat me, dude?
I don't. That's not a think. That's a no thing.
You're not gonna
I'm not cocky about a lot of things, but for this,
You're not gonna beat me in that.
You have no idea how cocky I am right now.
But you're not gonna beat me in that.
I will.
I'm gonna break it down into a science.
I'm
and I'll destroy
Bren.
you.
Before I was in the Lucky Fucks or anything else, my main thing was Pokemon.
No, you know
I
what I
was
am?
gonna be.
I'm Gary.
Listen,
You're
I'm
Ash.
retarded. So my main thing I was gonna do in life was I thought if I could just learn the card game enough and played through Toys R Us at the time. They had tournaments, and if you beat that, you went to the state tournament. You beat that, you went to the fucking nationwide tournament. And then, if you really win, you win a bunch of prize money, like thousands of dollars, and like a Pikachu car, and all this shit. I'm like, if I can just keep winning, I could just make money off of being the world's greatest Pokemon master. And this was my first real big dream, other than like being a Power Ranger or a Ninja Turtle. I was going to be the world's greatest Pokemon master, and I was going to make money off of playing this fucking game.
I'm telling you, man.
And I was good.
If we get into this, you would be Ash, I'll be Gary. I would always be better, but you would always be there for the plot points, you know? Like,
I'm going to win.
no. Gary always beat Ash every fight.
No.
Yes. When did Ash ever
I
beat
never
Gary?
gave tribute to the cartoon. I thought as a kid, when I was 10 years old, playing Pokemon in like 98, 90 fucking 9. Okay, I watched that cartoon when it came out after I was already playing the game. I'm like, dude, Ash is a bitch. I fucking hate this character.
All right, fine. So
Ever watch Pokemon Origins?
So I'm
That's
blue.
what the Pokemon show, the anime should have been. Pokemon Origins was fucking awesome. It went through the characters of Red and Blue, and it just went through the game, and it was epic, and it was badass. It was a little bit gruesome when it needed to be. It wasn't played down like this cheesy kid. I didn't like the Pokemon. I watched it because I was so into it. Like, I remember one time I was playing Pokemon from my TV, and I found like like an orchestra, a piano version of like Pokemon songs, and I would listen to it, and I would be playing, and I was so happy once that I cried. I was just playing Pokemon, listening. I was playing Pokemon, just listening to the piano version of the song, and I was crying in happiness. That's how much I loved Pokemon at the time.
Did you like Digimon at all?
What?
Did you like Digimon?
I fucking hated Digimon.
Why?
Because it was trying to compete with Pokemon.
No,
which
Digimon
was
came out
my
before
fucking
Pokemon.
Pokemon was my thing.
Digimon came out before Pokemon, though.
Huh?
Digimon came out before Pokemon.
No, it didn't.
Yeah, it did. They both came out as games first, and Digimon came out before Pokemon.
Digimon was like a fucking Tamagotchi with fucking shit balls and fireballs. Okay.
Yeah, but the storytelling was a lot better because Pokemon was purely about
I didn't
fans.
like the song sucked. I didn't like the mechanical version. I didn't like how they evolved and then de-evolved. You evolve, you fucking evolve.
No,
That's
but
it.
as an anime and manga, Digimon definitely outshone Pokemon in every way.
No, it didn't.
Yes, it did.
Pokemon, dude. There's a fucking Pikachu plushie in
never-
a time capsule right now.
You never got into Digimon, did you? I think if you saw Digimon, like for
Digimon, what didn't become a pop culture icon,
No,
like
no.
Pokemon did.
But
there was Pokemania.
But we're not talking.
There was no Digimania.
Yeah, but we're not talking about pop culture icons. We're talking about what told a better story. Like you said to yourself, you watched the anime and you were like, yeah, this is okay. But Digimon was always a solid fucking story. When you read the manga and watch the anime, that was a way superior anime.
No, that's like saying the monkeys were as good as the fucking Beatles.
What Pokemon had over Digimon was the games. Pokemon games always was 1,000 times better than anything Digimon had to offer. But as far as anime and manga, Digimon blew Pokemon out of the water. But the thing is, games matter more. They do.
Because you're using your own experience.
Exactly.
And you're trying to relate because at the time you didn't have good graphics.
But so
you had to use your imagination. So you're sort of a little sprite, and you had to make up what it looked like when they were actually fighting.
But in terms of storytelling, like raw storytelling, Digimon always outshone Pokemon in the anime and manga. 100%. Seriously, watch Digimon one time and you'll be like, okay.
Well, I didn't really care too much for the show. I watched it just because I was into it. But
no, it's superior.
I remember thinking Ash sucked.
No, Digimon is way superior than Pokemon will ever be in terms of the show.
Are you down to this Pokemon thing?
What Pokemon thing?
We just find some old Game Boys and we just get the games we play.
Well, I don't know. I don't know if I want to play original Red version anymore because you remember there's a Fire Red and Leaf Green.
Yes, but they baby you.
That was such a good game though.
Yeah, but they baby you. The newer the Pokemon game, the more they baby you. Like your rival, instead of coming I remember getting out of Mount Moon, going to trying to get to the next town or something, or trying to get to Lavender Town, and I'm half dead. And all my Pokemon are fucked, but I see the Pokemon Center. I'm I'm almost there. There's nothing's gonna stop me. All of a sudden, Gary shows up and fucking wrecks my shit, and now I have to restart from my last save point and plan that shit.
Yeah, but you could grind
And nowadays, your rival shows up and he's like, "Oh, let me heal your Pokemon for you. Here's 20 Pokeballs and 50 potions." And it's just
fucking idiot.
It's no, be a douche to me. I like the abuse. I want to be challenged in a Pokemon game. I want to be like, God fucking damn it. Okay, I'm going to fucking train up and beat this fucking guy. I don't want it to be like a shitty RPG. It's
Yeah, but
shit
that's so
now.
easy to grind out
They
nowadays.
baby these kids. I was 10, you know? And I had to learn the hard way.
Yeah, but then you learn about Missingo, and then you're like, everything.
Yeah, but it's cool when you do find out. But nowadays, when they just give you everything, it's like there's nothing to learn or find out. You don't feel like you accomplish anything when you like catch a certain Pokemon or fucking, beat the Elite Four. You feel like they just guided
Who's
you
the
through it, and,
weirdest
like patted your on your back the whole
Who's the
time.
weirdest Pokemon that you ever ran on your team? I'll tell you mine. All right, mine was Kangaskhan.
That's not that weird.
Kangaskhan was fucking weird.
I don't like Pokemon that don't evolve. I don't trust them.
Yeah, but they eventually evolved. Like
I also don't like many Pokemon that only evolve once. I like 3-stage evolution Pokemon.
yeah, because this is the most OD. Do you know about Tyranitar?
Vaguely.
Like Pupitar and Larvitar, Pupitar, then Tyranitar.
The last generation that I thought was good in Pokemon was Ruby and Sapphire.
No, I thought Gold and Silver was the last good one. Gold and Silver was
Ruby and Sapphire were good.
But remember when Gold and Silver first dropped, you had Togetic, you had fucking Sneasel, you had
And you got to go
Skarmory.
back to fucking Kanto.
Dude, remember Chikorita?
You
Mudkip?
got to play through Johto, and then
Yeah,
you got to
yeah,
go back
yeah.
to Kanto. And
no
then
other Pokemon game was that good because in Gold
it was
and Silver,
huge.
You had to do everything over again. Like you had to do.
You got to go back all the way to
Yes,
the first game,
yes.
and it's almost like playing through the first game again.
No other Pokemon game was that impactful because when you play Gold, Silver, and Crystal, you were like, "What? I gotta go back to Kanto and fight the Elite Four."
Listen,
like,
man.
that was great.
I remember the day I got that game. I was at home, and my parents were like, "Hey, man, can you grab this from the freezer for me?" I'm like, "Okay, Mom. Okay, Dad." And just open the freezer, and Pokemon Gold was in there. Oh my God! It was like better
You're
than
like,
better than any orgasm ever had. I swear to God, it was like, oh, it was so amazing. I guess I had good parents.
Yo, but that was a sick game though. Like, yo, literally, no other Pokemon game was that intense. You know, where it's like, all right, I have to fight this whole new region of Johto, and then it's like, what? I gotta go
And
back.
it goes by day and night. So you have to wait till nighttime to catch night Pokemon.
And to evolve Eevee into Espeon or Umbreon.
I never even got that fucking deep. But like, I'm beating the fuck out of that game, yes. But like,
You get the Eevee in Gold.
it had an internal clock that like lasted forever. You could pick that game up 10 years later. The internal clock still works. It just never stopped working. And it like gave you the origins of the
And the
Pokeball.
genders, it had genders.
Yes, fine, yeah. Well, fuck that shit. You gotta be a boy. The original Pokemon game was like, you're a boy.
You know why they
You're
had
definitely a boy.
You know why they have genders for
It was so
Pokemon?
fucked up.
No, I'm saying genders for the Pokemon. You know why?
Oh,
For
breeding, yes.
Yeah.
but I'm saying like in the original game, it wasn't like, oh, you're a girl or a boy. It was like, you're a boy. The end of fucking story. That seems normal to us, but it's like imagine being like
A girl
it's
trying
like,
to play.
and you're just like,
The fuck?
I just have to deal with this. It's like, I don't know. I don't know how it fucking feels completely, but
Yeah,
it must be,
but-
like being black and like every fucking superhero is white and like everything like you have to look up to is like, okay, it's a white male.
So
That was like that for a very fucking long time.
So the crystal version was the perfected version of Gold and Silver. It was the version where you were able to choose your gender. It was the first version of Pokemon where you could choose your gender was Crystal. And Crystal was like basically
So
gold.
it wasn't Gold and Silver?
It was Gold and Silver plus. Because you could pick Gold or Silver, but then when you got Crystal, you got the Suicune benefits.
Oh, okay. See, I took a break and I played Ruby and Sapphire and like I like those.
You ever play Emerald? Because there's Ruby and Sapphire in the third one of that generation.
I think
was
I've
Emerald.
lightly played it, but it's still like kind of the same.
Yeah, it is the same, but it's got more epic shit involved. And then after that was like,
I like the end of the world scenario in that.
there was like black
And it was
white.
still hard. You still had to think. But after that, like
Black
I
and
remember
white,
black
pearl
and white.
and
I don't
diamond.
know. I don't like they
And then
started
there was
making like
Pearl and Diamond.
pancake Pokemon, ice cream cone. And I'm just like, no, this is no.
Too much. Yeah. I feel that way about it too.
It was 150. Okay, that was enough. No,
No.
250 was pretty cool.
No,
Okay,
we need thousands.
yeah.
We need thousands of Pokemon, dude. Because it's just like real life.
Yeah, but then they changed the types. They're like, now there's dark and fairy. Clefairy was a normal type. And now Clefairy is I almost said she, as if they're all just
You know what always
female
fucked with
because
me
they're
about
Clefairy.
Pokemon? Like, what do they eat?
How
What do they eat in the
bigoted.
Pokemon world? Like when they're eating steaks and shit, aren't they eating Pokemon?
In the cartoon, it doesn't make sense. I've seen animals, like real, like life animals, animated in the cartoon.
In
Like,
the early
those were a
seasons.
bunch of fucking like coyotes or bulls. I'm like, you have like in this universe, you have Pokemon, and you also have like Earth animals. Like, what the fuck's going on here?
But
There
then
was like
the
2 or 3 episodes that were like that. And I'm like, what the fuck's happening?
But in the later
I thought
seasons,
like you didn't just have pigeons and then Pidgeys. You just had Pidgeys, right? Like I assumed your world was just based on these
no,
fucking
but
like,
in the later seasons, they
creatures.
corrected it. They realized, like, yeah, we do have to eat these things.
But it's like, if you really, it sucks. I don't want to think about it, but like, you get older and you're like,
They eat
it's
them,
like
dude.
Pokemon's like kind of fucked up, like it's like,
Animal slavery.
yeah, it's fucking slavery, man. And like we found a way to like get like make Pokeballs and like trap these things in an energy ball, and like they become subservient to us. But why are we like that's like catching dogs and like making them beat the fucking shit out of each
Yeah, it's
other.
like literally
And
a
like
dogfighting.
you're like, is this cool? And the dog's like,
Yeah.
gives you the thumb, turns around, gives you the thumbs up or
It
something.
says
like,
its name.
"Woo, woo," and you're like, okay, you fucking Bowser's okay with this. Keep going, Bowser. Fucking keep going. It's like maybe the dog's just really trying to please you.
Yo, how did you feel
Why-
about
like-
how did you feel about Richie? You know, like Ash's rival Richie, the one with his own Pikachu named Sparky.
Oh, he had the boy Pikachu.
Yeah.
Because Ash had the female Pikachu, and it was like I
And Richie
vaguely
had,
remember that.
And Richie was just like Ash, but a little better.
I barely remember that. I remember them catching a fucking Dragonite in a fish net, and I'm like, what?
I remember Ash was a Butterfree owner, but he let the Butterfree go to fuck. He was like, "Go Butterfree, have babies."
Well, they didn't really, in the episode, they didn't say, go fuck Butterfree, but
That's what they
yeah,
implied.
yeah. So he was going to mate, yes.
Anyway, we're pretty much at the end of the episode, so we hope you guys enjoyed this last bit of Pokemon dribble, and thanks for listening. Say bye, Brendan.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.